introduce Dr. Page. So he's a member of the Albuquerque Chamber, and he's a very active member of our community, from pony baseball to he does just about everything. I mean, he's got his fingers in a little bit of everything in the community. So we're very glad to have him, and he's going to talk a little bit today about NFC, near field communication cards, and then I'll let him talk about how he's doing it and what he's doing, and then we can go from there. So without further ado, our entrepreneur and author, right?
Yep.
Dr. Mark Page.
Okay, thanks, Andy. So we've got to give a big shout out to Andy. If anybody else has got more energy and enthusiasm and passion for helping our businesses in Ahwatukee, but just love to see, every time I see you, it's like, go, go, go. So I really appreciate your effort there. So just one of the things that I wanted to show here is, I was kind of talking with Andy last month about my cousin Larry, and he started a business in his dorm room, and I think it's going to become pretty big. But I don't know if you guys know my cousin Larry Page. Anybody know him? He's the founder of Google. I think he's my 8th cousin, 17 times removed. But with Google, I think kind of made an unfair situation with small businesses. Years ago, they kind of put our information online, and then they started having people review us, and kind of without our permission. So it's kind of like, people that we're not as busy as the chains or the corporations. They're seeing, hundreds of people a day, and we're seeing, 10, 20. How do we get the same, exposure that they're getting? And I think it's kind of changing even more now with artificial intelligence. There's just, I'm reading where guys are putting 1,000 articles a day on Google. And so there's all this spam. And so how do you kind of know what's true? So I think with reviews, it's coming from a real person. And you have to have a Google account. And then, Google, they know where we are. So you can look at a business and it says, okay, it's busy this time of the day. Well, how do they know that? Because we've got our phones and it's sending a signal. So with the NFC technology, that's near field. So again, we kind of all know about Wi-Fi. So 5, 6 rooms away, we can still connect to Wi-Fi. And then they've got Bluetooth, which is maybe the next room, you can kind of still get the stereo to work on Bluetooth. But near field is kind of, you got to be like an inch away. But we can program the card to kind of do almost anything. So we can tell it, okay, let's go to this review page. And like Andy was saying, we can ask for, instead of a review, because how many people have been to this restaurant before? Yeah, and do you kind of like it? Have you given them a review? Yes. But the ones that haven't, why not?
They didn't ask for it.
Pardon me?
They didn't ask.
Yep. Yep. So that's the biggest factor. So if they came over, if the waiter, the manager came and said, how's everything today? Hey, could you help us out? Could you give us a rating? Oh, sure. Okay, well, how are you going to do that? When are you going to do that? When I go home? Toilet's backed up. Dog peed on the pillow. Okay, life gets in the way. Okay, so I didn't get a chance to. But you're sitting right here and you said things were good. Could you help me out? My business, we're doing a contest. So one for the team and one for the patients. But we'll ask them right there, are you happy with everything? Could you give us a rating? Oh, sure, I love you guys. Oh, hey, we got this little card. Can you have your phone? Tap the phone, boom, it's right there. Now, there are a couple cases where some phones, it's not working. So an older phone won't work. Some phones, if the battery is kind of drained down, that technology won't connect as well. So there's a couple things that we also put a QR code so that you can maybe take your phone out and the camera and get it. It goes right to the same location there as well. And then,
If Can I just interject?
Sure.
Because I was doing some research on this, because we're using the cards, obviously.
Yep.
And I was telling these guys that on the Android phone, it's in the back to the lower portion of it, but it's right here. It doesn't matter if you have a cover on it. And for the Apple phones, most of the NFCs are on top.
Yep, the antenna.
So if you tap on top with the NFC card, then you'll be able to, versus going on the back. The Android is definitely back. Most of the Apple phones are on top.
Dr. Page, are you going to show us where are you going to open our phones up?
Yep.
And show us where it's, I don't even know
Yep,
where it is.
yep.
I don't know.
So this is for the restaurant.
Oh, this restaurant?
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
So just want to.
So what,
So if anybody in NFC, I can do that.
so do we need, we don't keep this?
No, we'll just pass it around.
Everybody has their own card then, they have to buy their own card?
Yes. Mhm.
And then you hand it to your client after you've worked with them, and you say, use this to write a review?
No, you. So then you ask them, do you like working with me? Would you?
Because I opened it 4 times.
So then it connects. So then you just click it once.
Yeah?
I mean, mine came
I don't know
up,
if it's my
mine
settings.
came up when you said.
Yep.
So then
Oh,
turn
okay.
it
So
on.
yep. So it's turned off. Yep. So that's the other thing, Andy. Sometimes they don't have NFC turned on in their phones.
Oh, yeah.
So once I turn it on, I still just scan this?
Yep. So just kind of touch it up against there.
Okay.
Okay. And then whichever browser you use,
Yeah. And then what am I doing?
and then it's going to take you to.
You?
Nope. This is for native grade.
Oh, I see. So you have to hand that, you have to have that with you at all
Yes.
times.
Yep. So you ask, well, you brought your phone.
Clients are in California or Idaho.
Yep. So then this won't necessarily work. But
I've sent-
yep. Or a link.
Yeah, 'cause a lot of my clients are out of state. There's some
Uh-huh.
house that their parents owned here and their parents passed away.
So you can go into your if you logged into your Google business profile.
Like 6 months ago or something, I wrote
Okay.
a bunch of stuff up and I didn't quite finish. I forget what the other thing is. Then after I wrote the bio, then it asked me 500 other questions. And I didn't go through the 500 questions.
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep.
That part? Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, really?
So there is a link in there to get the review link. So you can make a copy of that and send them an email, send them a text, say, hey, could you help my business? Google's not showing me as much as they should. So
Wouldn't it be better just to have people, well, I guess, because LinkedIn is supposed to be another place, so then which one do you have them posted on, LinkedIn or Google?
Well-
Or your Facebook business page?
right. So all
Or
of
your
them.
website?
All of them.
Yeah, but then they're not gonna fill out 4.
Well, they can copy and paste. But the ideal one is Google. So this was a good question to you guys, is should they do it to Google or LinkedIn or Yelp or Facebook? With Google, when you're searching for your type of business, who goes to Facebook and searches for your type of business? So in most cases, they're searching on Google. And the more reviews you have on Google, they're going to increase your visibility. And it's a social proof type thing as well. So somebody's reading about these businesses and they see, okay, this review has been in business for 10 years and they have 2 reviews. Does nobody like them? Well, this business has been in business for 3 years and they have 150 reviews. Oh, so instead of the person going and doing all this research, most of this, let's take a shortcut. Okay, hey, these are already done. These people already said it's good. Let's try there. So it helps short circuit the research and on Google is where all the traffic is. But not every single business, is found on Google per se. Like restaurants, a lot of people do use Yelp to kind of find restaurants. But when they are searching, the more reviews you have a thing where they looked at 150 ranking factors, and in the top 20, reviews was listed 4 times. So the quantity, the rating, the star rating, how soon they were done, and how fast they're coming in. So there's, you can get, okay, I'll email all my patients and we'll get 350 next week, and then we do nothing the month later, okay, boom, your visibility is going to drop. So it has to be that consistent, you know, increase of the reviews themselves. But again, we do the kind of an incentive. So for my staff, we said if we can get 50 reviews, everyone gets $100. If our business increases $1,000 over last year.
So how long have you been implementing it?
So we started the very end of November.
Okay, so you're fairly.
Yep.
Okay.
So we looked 2022, we had 12 reviews for the year.
Okay.
In December, we had 71.
Okay.
So we did more reviews in a week than we did the entire year.
What was the result from those 71? Have you seen? I mean,
I am seeing my rankings increase a little bit now.
So you
Yep.
have seen
Yep.
actually something happen.
Yep. And we're getting more calls of referrals.
Okay.
And, again, I think the psychological principle of commitment. So anyone read Dr. Cialdini's book, The Psychology of Persuasion? So he's a professor at ASU, and he talks about one of the things is commitment. So if you kind of say something out loud, like if you're I'm gonna quit smoking, and you tell everybody, it's hard not to do it. So I'm trying to get my staff on the phone to say, okay, if you can't make it, will you give us a call? Yes. Okay. So more likely they're going to call us if they say out loud they're going to commit to doing that. So when they post a review, psychologically, I think we're going to be a stronger partnership. So, oh darn, the glasses took an extra week to come in. Something wasn't right. I said you guys were the greatest ever, so it's okay. If they never left a review, it's like, okay, now I'm going to maybe go on there and say, these guys don't know what they're doing. So it's multiple factors that help, the patient, the practice, my team. But with the patients, we're also, thank you, having a $100 bill, whoever uploads the most amazing photo. So that's one of the other factors with the Google ranking is the review, the rating, the words, and then pictures. So with all of this artificial intelligence kind of spam going out there, well, who do they trust? Okay, a person that's logged in their Google account that's saying something nice about this business and is putting a photo. So there's just tremendous signals that this is a business that needs to be trusted. This is a business that needs to be more visible. So that's kind of the main thing that we're seeing. Now, again, we just kind of started recently, but we are tracking our rankings, and we are seeing some rises in the keywords. And that's the other thing is when you go into your Google reviews, so on the phone, I used to use the My Business Profile. It's an app, and it's kind of changed now. But if you log in, it kind of asks you which account. And so with reviews, you have the ability to search by a keyword. So like in my business, okay, we sell Gucci glasses. So I can kind of go into the reviews, and they have a little hourglass over here. So I can search by Gucci. Okay. And it says no. Yes. Yep. So no results found. Okay. So go back to my team this afternoon and say, hey, somebody buys Gucci's, ask them to write a review and see if they can, leave the word Gucci in the review. And then, the ones like on your website, like if you're a plumber and you do, broken pipes or clogged toilet, if they take a picture. Okay. And then you take that review and put it on the website page that says fix broken pipes. So it's all those signals that, it's when you kind of start getting into it, it's amazing how much they know about us.
There's another question about, since you started earlier, like seeing those reviews, have you learned anything about your business that from those reviews, like any, so obviously people get educated from their from their clients?
Um,
Anything profound or just all good stuff?
it's been pretty good, although we did get 2 1-star reviews.
I didn't mean necessarily 1-star, but just somebody just saying something about
Yeah.
the business. Or...
Yes, actually somebody did leave like a 2 or 3 star, and they said the exam was great and I loved my glasses, but when I left the front desk, people didn't even look at me.
That's what I'm that's
Yes,
super valuable.
right. So I went back to the
That's worth
staff
a
and
3-star
said,
right
right,
there.
you guys need to understand that
Right.
people, this is kind of what
Learning
people,
lesson.
right, it's what they're saying. I'm not saying this.
Yeah.
The other cool thing about getting all the reviews, I can walk in the office now, and before it's kind of like, who made this mistake? Why is this happening? What's going wrong here? So I'd walk in the door and it's like, oh no, here comes Dr. Page. Because they know it's going to be, we're talking about problems. And now I walk in the door and say, oh my gosh, you see what somebody said? You're the most, gentle person, and you've educated them so well. And it's like, so I start reading these off to the staff, and they're all standing up straight. They're all smiling. It's like, so for me, it's so easy to come in as the owner and now start giving positive feedback because it's what people are saying.
I think the goal too for me, to your point, Steve, is I want to get more noticed somehow, right? And so when I talk to people about it and I tap and they give me a 5-star review, it does bubble me up. Because when you type in Ahwatukee, there's Ahwatukee flowers, there's Ahwatukee car, there's Ahwatukee here, there's Ahwatukee there. So it bubbles the chamber up. When you first type in Ahwatukee, suddenly instead of being number 27, I'm now number 6.
Oh.
Because my reviews are coming in. I mean, I'm doing reviews. I'm trying to do a review a day, which is or isn't. But I try to talk to somebody every day and say, hey, would you mind giving me a rating? And so to Dr. Page's point, it bubbles you up a little bit. So instead of being on the bottom with all these other bubbles above me, I'm now bubbled up to number 6, and people can see me on that first page on their phone, which is exactly what you want to do. And I'm sure if you're like, I'm not sure, but like WSI, so they're already probably bubbled up. But if they start getting more reviews, if she carries the card and she goes to her women's group and says, hey, can you do a review? Can you do a review? And then suddenly WSI Phoenix pops up when they say, digital. Suddenly digital pops up and there's Madhu. So for me, it's been important, and I know people have seen it because Tom Doherty, for one, came and he said, how are you getting all these reviews? So people are noticing that I'm getting a review a day. And Tom doesn't look at our website. He's a member, but he doesn't necessarily look, but he's seeing that when he types in Ahwatukee now, I'm popping up instead of Ahwatukee garage doors. Like, why are you popping up now suddenly? Well, because I'm doing these reviews. And so it does help you in that sense.
And I think an important thing there too, if you are giving reviews to the chamber, if you write in Ahwatukee Chamber, if you have Ahwatukee in there, in the review from the reviewer, that's going to help too. It's like with Gucci. So, okay, I got to get my team to tell the patient buying Gucci to write Gucci in the review. And then you can respond to those as well. So that's another factor that Google looks at. Is this business, active? Are they responding to the reviews being left? And you can put keywords in the review as well. You don't want to overdo it, but thank you so much for choosing Arizona's Vision. We are so glad we're helping you and your family find the perfect Gucci eyeglasses. So it's just little things, but not, I don't want to make 10 paragraphs about, and Gucci started here and they do this and but it's just little things that just add it all together.
How do you deal with people who love everything you did and give you a 4?
That's a good question.
No, hey, I actually ran into that. I'll let you talk too, John.
And especially like restaurants, because like for me, I don't think of this as a 5-star restaurant.
Yeah.
Because I think of a Capitol Building as a 5-star restaurant.
Yep.
So I might give this a 4 just because, but my husband looks at the ratings and he's like, I'm not going to anything that's not at least a 4 or 5.
Yep.
Yeah, I think 2 things when I talk to people. The first one is that I had somebody actually come up and I asked them to do this for me. Can you rate me? And he goes, I never give a 5-star review. And I said, why not? He goes, because there's always room for improvement. I'm a Marine. I'm a Marine. There's always room for improvement. And I was like, okay, hey, I understand where you're coming from, but
Exactly.
but what was the service I gave you today? And I happened to help him find some bike paths in Phoenix and in Tempe. He was a snowbird, and he just came to the office, and I said, hey, would you try this NFC for me? And he goes, I never give anybody a 5. I've never given anybody a 5. And I said, did I do the job that you asked me to do? And his answer was yes. And did I find you all the trails that you wanted to find? And I actually gave him some maps. And he goes, yes. And I said, I'm not asking you for a 5, but I certainly deserve a 5 because I fulfilled everything that you've asked for, right? I mean, that's what the answer is. If you fulfill
So why
what they're
aren't you
looking
asking
for.
him for a 5 then?
What's that?
So why aren't you asking him for a 5?
I did. He gave me a 5.
Well, you said you said no, I'm not asking him for a 5.
Well, I know, but it's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little semantics. I'm
Yep,
sorry,
yep.
but it is. It's like, hey, I'm not looking for a 5, but did I do everything that you did? And the answer is yes. So he gave me, I'm assuming, his first 5-star review because he's a Marine, and he never gives anybody a 5-star review. So there's ways around that as well. John, you had a story?
Well, I just think four is not a bad rating.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, you want people to read your 4 stars. Most people will sit there and go, well, why would they give them a 5-star?
Right.
And what you want them to, and trust me, when I look at people, if I see it, if it's a 5.0 with 300,
Yeah.
I maybe look at one review and go, okay, well, I get, but if I see something that says a 4.8, I'm for the 4 or the 3,
Yep.
just see
Yep.
what's the feedback, what's a potential negative. If it's not an issue, then big deal. If it had been
Yeah.
something that came in, it was raining outside and the door was closed, I don't know.
Yeah.
And response from the owner is going to like make it more like positive because people do want, if everything is 5-star, that sometimes people can think they are fake reviews.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you do need
Yeah.
to have the 3-4 star, and with this technology, the idea is to keep getting more reviews positive, and so those will be pushed down, right? Ultimately. So,
And to continue on that, there are the NFCs out there, there are software apps that connect to it that funnel the NFC to your site. So if you happen, they get the rating, okay? If it's a 3 or lower, it traps it for a second and lets you address it as an owner before it forwards it on to that. So if you do the app, if it's going directly to Google review, you say, here, do this. Obviously, you could qualify the individual pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Would you raise a 4 or 5 star? Oh, absolutely. Great, wonderful. But if you want people, like I put one up at our front desk and they just want to tap it and then provide it, it can trap that review and allow for us to kind of analyze it first and address it with the individual and say, hey, what can we do to make it better for you? So
Yep.
those are the good things, because when you're talking about getting that feedback, constructive feedback that helps us build our business, there are the ways to do it. Now you can, like I said, you have to usually, those apps are paid for apps, so you have to kind of set it up. Like Andy, you probably use a paid for app because you have multiple people that you're analyzing and have the cards that have their
Yes.
account, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So a leaderboard,
Yeah.
So you have
Yep.
the leaderboard, so when
Yep.
you have those apps, they do those things.
and we have that too. It's a thumbs up or thumbs down. So you can engage that. So like in the restaurant here, they can maybe put it on the table. And then it's thumbs up or thumbs down. Thumbs up, boom, okay, you're at the Google review page. Thumbs down, oh, how can we make it better? So it does like it kind of trap it or hide it temporarily, but in very light, faint gray letters at the bottom is click here to go to the Google review page, because there's kind of a gating system that Google's figured out. And so some of them, they won't let that person, go through the system to Google if they give the thumbs down. But with our system, it follows the Google's terms of service and allows it. But it's grayed out, and it's, we don't want it to be obvious that here go give us a 1-star review with an easy click. Yeah. See, what were you saying about the 4-star? So when I'm doing with people, they'll click on it and they'll say, oh, what's this? Okay, well, click 5 stars. Oh, okay. So
It is always good to get a 5-star review, and I'm yet to get a 4-star, but John, I'm sure I'll get one
I'm going
eventually.
to give you one.
Because you never get anybody a 5-star. So, but for me, it's just one of those things that I haven't gotten one yet. I'll get one soon because I'll part my hair wrong, or I'll do something wrong, and somebody will say, hey, women in business did this, and I thought they were doing this, or I got a scholarship and it was only $1,500, it wasn't $3,000. You know, somebody will say something. So
Mhm.
it'll just be one of those things that I'll just have to work through. But right now, I'm very happy to have 5-star reviews.
No,
And the other thing,
that's because you were not supporting yoga.
okay, well,
You're getting a 4.
okay, thank you. And the other thing, and Dr. Page kind of talked about this a little bit too, that I've noticed is that when you just give, and I don't know how the Google algorithm works, but I've been reading on this since I've started talking to Dr. Page. I don't know how the Google algorithm works, but if you just punch in 5 stars, it gives you like a 5 rating, like me. Give me a 5 rating. And then if I type in 5 or more words, it bumps me up to an 8 rating as a person. And then if I take a picture, it bumps me up to a 10. So it says I'm the best reviewer that you can possibly be. And so then when people are looking at, when Google is looking at your reviews and they notice that you're a 10 reviewer, they're gonna bubble your stuff up to the top as well. So if you just punch in, I like it 5 stars, it's like a 5. If you punch in 5 stars plus you write more than 5 words, 5 words or more, then you become a 7. And then now I take a picture, like even when I did the restaurant just now, I took a picture of all of us and put it in there. So I know that I'm going to be a 10 with Google when they say, oh, Andy's a good reviewer because he takes the time to not only write and do whatever else, but it's very important. Michelle.
So you're a top contributor, right?
A Google local
I'm
guide.
also-
Google
I'm a
local
top
guide.
contributor also, because I do leave a lot of reviews and sometimes I do the picture, but I always say something. I always make sure they know exactly why I did the 3,
So-
I did the 5.
So a little trick for that, if you can take that picture and download it and then put your logo on top of it before you upload it. Because then your Google local guide, I think I took a picture of Benny 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The dish, it's had over 10,000 views. So I just did it right there. I haven't put my logo on any of the pictures I take yet.
Yeah.
Because that's a little extra time, and then, there's a lot of other things that probably are more effective than that. But being a Google local guide and getting a lot of views.
Yeah. You do it with Canva, just put it on Canva and then you just upload that picture and it's already in Canva.
Oh, so then you're not using the take photo thing in the app.
Well, yeah, you have to download it and then modify it and then upload it. So there's a little bit of work with that. And then when you do go to a review, there's a share button there too. So you can share that to Facebook and Twitter. There might be some other ones in there. And then you can also create a post and say, we love getting reviews from our wonderful patients, and then put the, whatever text you want in there. And then you have the link back to the review itself. And then in the post, once you start doing those, if you link back to the previous ones, so Google's seeing all those links and connections. So all these reviews that keep happening, that's going to continue to increase the visibility. And being found online is definitely a way to help grow the business. But then sometimes we do get the 1-star reviews. And so we had actually 2 in a row. Horrible, terrible place, don't go here. Damien is terrible at the front desk. He doesn't work at the front desk. And if you meet him or work with him, he is like the most gentle guy you'd ever work with. And so I almost felt like saying, really? Are you sure you're talking to the right person?
What doctor's office do you go?
And then you can go to the person that left the review. And you can click on their name, and it shows all the reviews they left. Oh, they left a 1-star for Nationwide. They left a 1-star for VisionWorks. They left a 1-star for, okay, so it's these two. It's one of these 2 businesses because they gave him they gave a 1-star review to all the other eye doctors in Ahwatukee.
Except for one, probably.
Well, there's 2. There's 2. So there's
Interesting,
yes.
That goes on.
Right. So right. So I was going to say, Andy, now who's competing with the Chamber of Commerce?
Nobody.
How lucky is he? Lay Tip or Kiwanis or
It makes us kind of unique in that, you know, that we're a business alliance. So there is like BNI Sharks, and there's, you know, there's some other things that are around there doing similar things in business alliance, but not really what the chamber does.
Yeah. So I have a lot of competitors. So the 1-star reviews are you know, probably coming from some competitors.
Can you report those?
You can. So when you go to the review, on the right-hand side, there's a little, there's 3 little buttons. And you click that and you can say report. So it'll take you to another page and it gives you several, you know, is this spam? Is this, you know, cursing? So there's a lot of things in there. One is hate speech. So if they call out a person's name in the review, like when they said Damien is terrible, so we've reported that. You
We're
know,
not allowed to call out a name?
in a negative review, I don't think. So if it's a 5-star review and they're calling your name out, you probably don't want to report that. But if it's a 1-star review and they're calling out a name and saying they're terrible, so we're reporting that. But the other thing about Google is if we're all on Wi-Fi and we all reported it, you would think that it's one because it's coming from the IP address. So if you've got a staff or a team, okay, make sure everybody's off of Wi-Fi and on their cellular network before they.
You know, the fact is, though, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I look at the reviews, you see from the 5 to the 1. If you know, predominantly everybody's, you know, up there, and you got a couple. You just notice that it's just life.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? It's just
yeah.
like, it'd be, you know, if it's on the bottom, if it's way over here,
Yeah.
different story. I mean, I wouldn't. To me personally, I wouldn't sweat because you're never going to get rid of those ones.
Right,
They're going to keep popping
Right,
up.
right. So, and again, like I said before, having all 5-star reviews,
Mhm.
statistically, they're saying that, well, maybe I don't even trust that because nobody
Well,
is
so,
perfect.
yeah.
Yep. And we all know that. So having, you know, 100, 300 5-star reviews, are they paying for
The
these?
mix is kind of nice.
Yep,
and just,
yep,
you see
yep.
where it is.
But it depends on what they're saying and kind of, you know, so there's a couple that we have gotten removed because it's just,
Over the top.
yeah. It's like, so somebody's reading this and going, whoa, should I go here? You know, okay, and it's all, you know, false. So
And as a business owner, you know you got that 1-star review, so you can address it and reach out to them also.
Yep.
Because you know where it came from, and you can, for example, I recently left a 1-star, and I'm not this type of girl, but I left a 1-star, my dad had surgery, and within 2 weeks, we were supposed to have an appointment to get his staples out, and for 2 weeks, I called, and they kept transferring me to a voicemail. And it didn't matter who I talked to, when you first call, you tell them, no, don't do it. It's a voicemail, I can't, nobody's there, and they were like, I'll try. Oh yeah, you're right, it's a voicemail. Oh, I'll send them an email. I got no response.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to get my dad's staples out. This was like hardcore stupid. So I did, I left a 1-star review and I said, you know, I can't reach anyone. No one takes the time to figure out why I can't reach anyone. You know, my dad had surgery over 2 weeks ago. Staples are supposed to be in for 10 to 14 days. You know, this is how they are.
yeah.
to be honest,
Any response from the business?
They did not.
No, yeah.
And it did
So-
not keep down to a 3, but it's through the Core Institute. I don't know if you know the Core Institute. Holy shit, don't deal with them. Because other areas.
Shell, I have a rusty pair of pliers.
When I finally got in, they did we'll get you in the next day. We'll double book you. Blah blah blah. It was great, and we sat in the office for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then I watched them pull them out, and I thought, I could have.
Rusty pliers would have worked.
Or John is that way, rusty pliers.
Staples come out easy too. Like,
But I didn't get fit in his neck, so.
you know,
So I think some businesses, though, like with insurance and stuff, it's kind of like, you know, well, we got these choices.
Well, and at first, you know, they're like, oh, sorry, the girl who makes those appointments was out of the office for a week. Okay.
What about the other week?
Maybe you shouldn't have been doing surgeries for a week. Talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was,
are you going to show us how to
Yeah.
obtain these? And how to-
So that's kind of part of the 5-star business.
okay.
So we, and just with our office too, just the incentive from my staff. So it's like, okay, if we do this, you know, I think we said 25 reviews will get $50 and 50 reviews will get $100. So it's okay, they're going to do it. And then we're also giving a $100 bill to whoever uploads the most amazing photo. So we had 71 reviews and I think 52 people put a photo in there. So it gives them another reason. So I went and says, why doesn't anybody want to win $100? Oh, because it's dropped off this month compared to last month. So for my staff, it's like, so we put in there too that if you miss more than 2 days of work, you won't get the bonus. That's a big mistake. So they all stopped doing it because everybody's missed more than 2 days already. So it's right. So next month it's going to be. Right.
So did everybody open up NFC in their? Let's call this room a safety zone. Can everybody open up their NFC? Did everybody go to Apple Pay, or did they find another way to open it up? Besides John.
Mine's open. I didn't find where to open up.
Okay.
Mine's open.
Yours
Most
open.
people have put in their credit card or
Yeah.
debit card in there,
Mhm.
it's already on.
Yeah.
My
Agreed.
Apple.
Yeah.
Consumer cellular.
Uh-huh. So most of them will have
Yeah,
it,
they say
but.
that's smart.
But again, at our office too, kind of like, okay, we're trying it. I said, give it 10 seconds. If it's not coming up, say, oh, next time.
Whatever.
So it's kind of, but one of my manager actually made photocopies of the QR code. And, so a lot of people take it home with them.
Yeah.
So the other thing about the photos, if they're all coming from my office, that's helpful. But if suddenly they're all coming from the Foothills or Chandler so Google's seeing all this activity, well, I'm not showing this business out here because they're too far away. But I had a Google page there, it's a Google support page about how to rank local businesses. So it's the relevance, the distance, and and some people have a page of testimonials, and they show only about 11% of people actually go to the testimonial page. So with these kind of little splashes, 100% of people that are on the site are going to see it because it pops up at the bottom there. Yep. And one final thing is we also have technology like a sonar, so we can listen to Better Business Bureau, Yelp, Facebook, Google, Edmunds, TripAdvisor, Airbnb. So there's like 80 different websites we can track to listen for people leaving reviews as well. So you get a 1-star review on Better Business Bureau. When's the last time someone went to the Better Business Bureau website?
Yeah.
Or you get that link off of the Google Business Profile.
Oh, get it off the.
Yeah. So when they click on that, boom, it'll take them to that same page that the tap takes them
So
to.
then I wouldn't need a card at all.
No. So if you're meeting people regularly, it's helpful to have the card. But if you're really not ever, yeah.
Everybody-
So.
Everybody just grab a hold of your phone.